And in news just coming in, China has asserted that Doklam belongs to it and India should have learned lessons from the standoff last year. The statement comes days after Indian envoy blamed China for the face-off, saying that Beijing tried to alter the status quo in the disputed area. China's foreign ministry spokesperson said, and I quote, "Doklam belongs to China because we have historical conventions." They further said China's activities there are within their sovereign rights and that there is no such thing as changing the status quo. Right, so that's the news just coming in. China has asserted once again that Doklam belongs to China and that India should learn the right lessons from the standoff on Doklam Plateau last year. The statement comes days after Indian envoy blamed China for the face-off, saying that Beijing tried to alter the status quo in the disputed area. We'll try to get you more details as we go along, but that's the news coming in from China as of this moment. The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson says, and I quote, "Doklam belongs to China because we have historical conventions," unquote. The spokesperson further said that China's activities there are within their sovereign rights and that there is no such thing as changing the status quo. Right, joining me live from the WION newsroom is WION senior editor Surya Gangadharan. Good afternoon, Surya. First of all, what do you make of this back and forth between New Delhi and Beijing on the status quo in Doklam, and how might that impinge on the talks going ahead?
This is a reiteration of the old Chinese line that Doklam is their territory. It's a lie, of course, everybody knows it. But I think it is also a reaction to what Ambassador Bambawale said in Hong Kong,
right,
in an interview to the South China Morning Post. Now, Bambawale, if he had been interviewed in China, there is no way any of his remarks would have been carried because of censorship. So clearly he had to come outside China to Hong Kong to say what he wanted to say. The Chinese obviously are reacting to Bambawale's comments, again reiterating that old line that Doklam is disputed, when the fact is that it is disputed, and the Chinese and the Bhutanese have been arguing about it for quite some years.
Also, Surya, what do you make of these Chinese attempts every now and then to unilaterally change the status quo obtaining on the disputed boundary, be it India, be it Bhutan, especially what we saw in August last year on the Doklam Plateau?
This is China's strategy, you know. They constantly try to change things on the ground and then present it as a fait accompli. So this constant nibbling of territory goes on, whether it is in Bhutan, in Doklam, or along the line of actual control in Ladakh. We've seen it in Ladakh so many times, even in Arunachal. There's a constant Chinese push to try and get hold of territory and change the ground situation and then present it as a fait accompli. So this is what they're doing.
Now, the Chinese spokesperson also says, and I quote the spokesperson here, it says that Doklam belongs to China because China has historical conventions and that China's activities there are within their sovereign rights and therefore there is no such thing as changing the status quo. What is one supposed to make of these comments, Surya?
These historical conventions are something China has been citing for decades. They say it in the case of the South China Sea, they say it in the case of any other border dispute that they have. Many of these conventions existed centuries ago, and it's not even clear if there's any paperwork there, if there's any agreement on paper, any document that one can refer to. And in any case, nowadays, with the kind of technology at your disposal, it'll be fairly easy to fake some of these things. So China does not go by international laws and treaties, it goes by what suits itself. And those conventions in that sense suit its current policy push.
Absolutely. On that note, Surya Gangadharan, thank you so much for that update.